Well, cheers. It's lunch. How the heck are you? I was trying to get something set up here, but I was a little slow on the draw there. A little slow on the draw, man. Anyways, I digress. How the heck are you? I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. Well, at least for the purposes of this video, I'm so struck with the camera placement on this new device. It's at a different place, and I'm not sure how to look at you without looking like I'm cross-eyed. Anyways, anyways, I digress. Man. Let me get this fixed real quick. Anyways, there we go. That's fixed. Okay, I think we're back in business now. Anyway, how the heck are you? I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, for at least the purposes of this video anyway. So yeah, since I'm finishing up 2 Kansas City products, I had the West Bottoms that I picked up back in August. I can't get this stuff here now. It just costs a little bit more in my neck of the woods than it does in Kansas City. It is a good whiskey, West Bottoms Kansas City whiskey. The Kansas City whiskey can do a couple different things. In this particular case, it combines bourbon and rye. Right, it's a blend of bourbon and rye, and then it adds some Oloroso sherry. A lot of Kansas City whiskeys are just a bourbon that adds Oloroso sherry. It was kind of a prohibition trick, if you will. So I'm going to finish that off as an old-fashioned, along with, but I thought I'd do something a little different here. I had just a little bit left of my first bottle of the Union Horse Rivalist American Single Malt. Now, I picked this up back in August as well. And I'll be honest with you, this is a neat drinking whiskey. It should be drank neat, but I wanted to finish that rest of it off as an old-fashioned as well. So what I did with the old-fashioned was I made some ginger simple syrup. So and we're going to start here. We're going to finish off, as you can see, the candied ginger garnish. Candy ginger garnish, baby. We're gonna finish off the West Bottoms here first. Oh mercy, it's been a day. So I don't typically do the videos on a Sunday, as most of you know, but I am off today and I'm off tomorrow, which is rather unusual that I'm off on Monday. So I have to be off tomorrow. So I thought, well, let's do some videos today. I didn't have a chance to do any video. Well, I did one video at the end of the night yesterday, but I worked late. So anyways, so today I thought, well, I'd try to get a couple of videos in. I did a couple of videos earlier talking about the aperitif, where I did 2 versions. Well, I did a version of I did a classic gimlet and then kind of a spin up. I don't know what I would call that drink, but it was inspired by the classic gimlet, if you will. So you're finishing off the West Bottoms. The West Bottoms is interesting. It reminds me a lot of the J. Rieger's whiskey, which is basically starts as a bourbon, but it adds Oloroso sherry. But the West Bottoms is a little bit different. The West Bottoms is a blend of bourbon and rye, and then adds that Oloroso sherry, which kind of gives you the illusion of speeding up that aging process, right? Again, it was kind of that that prohibition trick, if you will. And again, here I've added that ginger simple syrup and that candied ginger garnish, which adds a little extra sugar, but it adds a little extra spice as well. Oh man, it's absolutely gorgeous. Once there was a way. To get back home. So I've been finding myself listening to a lot of been trying to familiarize myself with Uriah Heep and Saxon, two bands I listened to a lot of in my youth. However, I hadn't listened to a lot of them lately, and it turns out that both bands are in town on my birthday this year, of all places, man. It kind of felt like it was meant to be. Here's the thing: if they were in town on the 23rd or the 25th of the month of my birthday, I wouldn't have bothered trying to go. I wouldn't have even considered it. But the fact that they were here in town on my birthday, it felt like a moral imperative. So I tell my friends I got tickets to this. Is your wife going with you? No, that was kind of the caveat. I could go if she didn't have to go with me. Well, no, yeah, it's kind of true, but well, it is true, but more to the point was it was something that my son Seamus would have wanted to do. I know he would have. This would have been a concert we would have went to together had he still been here. We went to a lot of shows together. I know this is one he would have wanted to see. I know he liked both bands. And I know being on my birthday, knowing the stuff he knew I liked. I know this is a show. I just felt like when I saw it, it's on my birthday. It just kind of felt like a moral imperative that it had to be there. It's funny though when I tell people I'm going, they say, "You're going by yourself?" I say, "Yeah." Some people act fine. Some people act like it's a tragedy. I don't mind, man. I really don't. If I had friends that enjoyed the bands in the same way I do, it would be fine. I just don't want to have to buy the tickets. What's the word I'm looking for? Buy the tickets, with somebody else, thinking, okay, they're going to watch it the same way I'm going to. If I run into some folks I know at that show, that will be great. It'll be great. I could shake hands. We could have a beer at intermission or before the show starts or whatever. But the fact that I don't have tickets with certain people means there's no implied social contract, right? I can go to I can walk in, I can have a beer or not have a beer. I can go right to my seat or wherever I am and enjoy the show in the way I like to enjoy it without any implied social contract. I've gotten more that way. The older I get, I like people. I like to be around people, but I need it to be on my terms, right? I don't like that implied social contract that if I'm making plans to be with you, I have to do things a specific way. I don't do well. I don't do well with that anymore. Man, that's good. And I'm not sure why that is, right? If you go to places alone, somehow you're a tragic figure, right? You see a movie alone. If you go to a restaurant alone, somehow you're a tragic figure, right? I like I honestly, I love going to festivals alone, a beer festival specifically, or whiskey festivals, or whatever it might be. I prefer to go to them alone because, again, there's not that implied social contract that I have to be around certain people the whole freaking night. I just wish we could normalize, being comfortable being alone. Or if you're not comfortable being alone, that's fine. But allow people that are the freedom to do so without you passing judgment on them. How about that? How about we normalize that? Hey Todd, how are you, man? It's luncheon. So you're going alone? Yeah. Really? No, I don't know why you think you're feeling sorry for me. This is really the way I prefer. I prefer going everywhere alone for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the date nights with my wife when we do things together, go to the movies, plan things together. That's fine. But things she doesn't like to do, like a rock concert, for instance, there's no reason to make her go to a show that she's going to be miserable at when I would prefer to just be by myself. I mean, she doesn't know anything about Uriah Heep or Saxon. Why would I make her go to that? That doesn't make any sense. And quite frankly, it's my birthday, so why would I try to find somebody else want to go? I want to go this. I want to go to this show because it's on my birthday, on my own, so I don't have an implied social contract with anybody. I know, I know that whole attitude is a little strange to some, but I just don't mind. I grew up rather independent in the the dynamic that was my rather odd family. So I went to stuff alone. I went to stuff with friends. I went to stuff with family that I didn't want to go to. But anyway, the things I wanted to do, I just did, whether I had a friend to go with me or not. You learn to be independent, or you just, I don't like to use the term "only the strong survive" because it wasn't quite that, but it was, you had to find a way to get by or be comfortable in your own skin, or you just weren't going to make it. You had to deal with your own insecurities, right? These are your own. These are your own. So you got to find a way to deal with it or not. My mom was born in 1934. I don't see her. Well, I don't see her as much as I should, to be honest with you, but because it's very hard for me at this point, but for a lot of reasons. But my brother, who's taking very good care of her, has mentioned that her memories of our childhood is very different than the actual childhood that happened, and at this point he can't really correct her. Things she remembers aren't really how things happen, but hey, if that's how she needs to remember them now at the end of her life, then that's kind of the way things are. But in all honesty, I think that's how all of us get. There are things we remember even now. I mean, I don't suffer from dementia, but I'm sure there's things that I remember that somebody that went through the exact same thing with me may remember slightly different. I think that's just kind of the nature of the beast. And I'm sure that will change or even be more exaggerated as I get older, if I'm allowed to do so. Oh man, that was nice. The West Bob's. It's a good whiskey. So here's the thing. I didn't buy. I can buy this here in town. I decided to buy it when I was out of town because it was about $4 cheaper in the Kansas City area. That and the fact that there were certain things I just wanted to try where we were. It was a rather affordable whiskey, right? It was only about $24 there. It's about $29 here. But I was trying to do some different things, so I wanted to kind of experiment with that before I went to, did it on the more expensive whiskeys, right? And then I wanted to do that rather than buy another rot gut whiskey. I was in the Kansas City area, so I wanted to buy a Kansas City whiskey to experiment with some things. So kind of why I picked that one up. I like how the longer this sits here, the longer that this piece of that little piece of ginger you said, that garnish, the longer my garnish sits in there, the more that ginger imparts in the cocktail. Because I use some of that in the simple syrup. But again, even as it sits in the cocktail, you really feel those nice, sweet, and spicy ginger notes. anyways, I digress. And I think it's those older, it's the Oloroso sherry I must be picking up because I'm feeling some, because I don't have I'm not having a Manhattan. So I'm not, I don't have a cherry in the cocktail, but I feel like I'm tasting those dark cherry notes, which I can only guess is imparted from the Oloroso sherry in that Kansas City whiskey. Anyways, anyway, I digress. Man, that's delicious, though. That really is. Man, that's nice. That's nice. Just that bottle one more time. One more time with feeling, man. West bottle. This is at 92 proof, I believe. If I see that on there, yeah. Oh, 94, rather. I thought it was 92. It's 94. 94 proof. My bad. I didn't mean to cheat about two. Didn't mean to cheat chat too, man. Not 94 proof. West Bottoms Kansas City whiskey. This stuff is really good. I mean, it is rather affordable. It runs about 30 here in the Springfield neck of the woods. It was about 25 in Kansas City where I picked it up. Well, back in August, it's been a little bit. I really wanted to finish it off here with this particular Digestif, this cocktail, this old fashioned. So, anyways, so the other whiskey, which really, in all honesty, shouldn't be treated this way, right? This is an incredible whiskey that really ought to be drank neat, which is how I drank most of the bottle. But I thought I'd just finish off the rest of it as a digestive in a version of an old fashioned. This is the Union Horse out of Lenexa, Kansas. Kind of, well, it is Kansas, but it's more or less a suburb of Kansas City, Missouri. Union Horse Distilling Company, rivalist American single malt whiskey, 96 proof. Let me show you that bottle. This stuff is insanely good. And the truth is, yes, I feel a little bad treating it this way because it really is such a beautiful, neat drinking whiskey. But I also wanted to see how it would react in an old fashioned such as this. So again, it's the exact same cocktail, the exact same simple syrup. The only difference is the whiskey. Using my hard rock glass here, as you can see. The nose, you could tell the difference right away. I mean, it is this whiskey. It's very dank. That beautiful single malt. Oh God, it's insane. That 100% malted barley is just beyond gorgeous. So, Tom, why would you do that to a whiskey of this caliber? Yeah, it was just down to that last little bit, and I thought, well, let's see. Well, because I had the two, I wanted to try the two Kansas City Proud X and say, okay, let's see what we got. Again, the truth is, this really is a whiskey that should be drank neat. And I apologize to the folks at Union Horse. However, I will tell you, wow, I will tell you, having taken that drink, that it does work perfect. It just makes a beautiful, beautiful old fashioned. If not, it's certainly not traditional, but it is very tasty. Yeah, because that malt whiskey is just so gorgeous, man. 96 proof. This stuff is just insane, man. I would love. I don't know if they will, but I would love to have a cask version of that because that whiskey is so beautiful. It is so impeccably done. Oh gosh, man, everything about that whiskey is just gorgeous. Everything about that distillery amazes me, to be honest with you. Every Union Horse product I've had, from the Rolling Standard to their rye, the cask rye, the bourbon, the cask bourbon, everything I've had from them has been so amazing. So I hope they're not offended that I turned their single malt into an old fashioned, but damn, it is good. It's really tasty, man. Don't be mad. Really, it's really good, man. This whiskey is just insane. If you've never had any Union Horse products, I got to be honest with you. As far as there's a lot of small craft distilleries in the U.S. these days, but I got to tell you, two of my favorites are both out of the Kansas City area. Union Horse at Lenexa, Kansas, which is in that Kansas City area. The other one is in North Kansas City, and it's Russell Spirits. I think those two particular distilleries are doing some of the best products in the entire country right now. Those are the two distilleries to look out for. I'm telling you. If you're a whiskey lover, if you're somebody who's not about trends, who's not about secondary markets, who's not about allocations, who's actually about good whiskey, those are the two distilleries you really ought to be looking at. Because quite frankly, those folks are looking at allocations and particular trendy whiskeys. Those aren't whiskey lovers at all. Those are folks trying to profit. Those are profiteers, man. Never buy anything. Never buy anything on the secondary market. I swear to goodness. The secondary market is what is ruining the whole whiskey market these days. You got folks that will buy up specific products and then act like it's worth more than it is. Don't be a chump. Yeah. Never pay more than $25 for Buffalo Trace. Never pay more than $50 for Blanton's. If you're paying more for any of those whiskeys, you're an idiot. Why do I say that? Well, here's why. Because those are fine whiskeys. Blanton's isn't a bad whiskey at all for $25. But if you're paying $100 for it, take that same $100 and go to your look at what's around you, right? I guarantee you, wherever you live, you have a small distillery that's making a better product than Bland's. Take that same $100, look around you. I guarantee you've got a better product than than Buffalo Trace or Bland's. I'm just telling you, those things are out there. Look around. Buy from those small distilleries. Forget those big guys. They do not need your money. If you're spending more money than a particular whiskey is worth, you don't care about the whiskey. You're trying to suit the cool kids table. You know you're a nerd, but you're trying your best to get at the cool kids table, and that's exactly what you're doing. And knock it off. Quit being an asshat. Quit being a wannabe. Quit being a poser. Learn about the whiskey. Buy what's good around you. And by golly, yeah, I got to tell you, West Bottom's a good whiskey. Rivalist, Union Horse is a good whiskey. Anything from Russell Spirits is good whiskey. I'm telling you, buy what's around you. I was sad to hear that Dogmaster out of Columbia was closing at the beginning of this year. I was really sad because they had some good products as well. In my neck of the woods right now, I've got Tiaki Da that's doing some great stuff. So Support those local guys, or they might not be along for long. Those big guys, they're going to be fine. Buffalo Trace is going to be fine. Jim Beam's going to be fine. Jack Daniels is going to be fine. Blanton's is going to be fine. Don't pay too much just because you want to look cool. Look, I got this bottle. Ain't I sweet? No, you don't. You don't look sweet. You don't look cool. You look like a poser. Anytime you pay too much for a whiskey, just to say, hey, look what I got. Yeah, you're a poser. That's I feel like everybody's forgotten what that word means, man. It was a big thing back in the 80s. Now I feel like people are going out of their way to say, hey, look, I'm a poser. Hey, look, I paid $100 for a $25 bottle of whiskey. Hey, look at me at a special. No, you're an idiot. Anyways, I digress. I'm Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, whiskey evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of some, and all around good guy, sláinte.